Hi everyone, TheBarracuda57 here. I've just come back from university and I'm now in my holiday, on my vacation, Christmas holidays, and I don't know, it's just been a roller coaster of things really. It's been good, been a lot of good stuff, a lot of kind of like good and weird kind of stuff. But anyway, you know, that's life, isn't it? And basically in this video I'll be talking about the heart, speaking with the heart, connecting yourself and reconnecting yourself to your heart. I'll also be speaking about your true self, you know, and reconnections to it, and just generally kind of like rebalancing really. Basically life is all about learning, it's all about improving, and it's all about learning from your past experiences and growing. And it's funny because you could be like one person 1 month and then lots of stuff happens, you know, good and bad, you know, and you come into contact with people, you come into contact with things which just completely change you. And it could be for the worse, but usually it's for the better, you know, because everything is a learning experience and everything is education, you know. But yeah, it's I don't know if you noticed, but I'm now more emotionally aware, I'm more connected to my heart. I don't know if that comes across in my speech, I don't know if that comes across in my general kind of essence and my aura. Anyway, that's for you to decide. But yeah, perhaps compare to my past videos and see for yourself, but anyway, that's another story. But yeah, this video will be talking about connecting with the heart. So what does it mean to connect with the heart? Well, the INFJ, or just people in general, are often put into two subtypes. Now, I'm not going to label it and say that you are confined to one or the other of these types, but I'm saying usually people are orientated to one of these sides. Anyway, in terms of INFJ, these two subtypes are the thinking-orientated INFJ, which is more TI heavy in terms of the cognitive functions, and you've got feeling-heavy INFJ, FE heavy INFJ, which are connected to feelings. And basically, you know, what it comes down to is bullying and trauma and really bad past experiences. Now, I've spoken to many people who have had really hurtful experiences. We all have. This could be bullying, this could be, you know, this could be trauma, this could be bad experiences, this could be, I don't know, it could be so many things. And because of these things, they really affect you and you really keep them inside of yourself. What's the problem? The problem is we don't often release these emotions. That is the problem. We keep them within ourselves and we basically just kind of live our lives, but we don't let it out. It's still kind of deep within us. And because it's deep within you, it kind of feels normal. But just because it feels normal doesn't mean it is normal. Do you know what I mean? So basically, when I was younger, I was harshly bullied because I was weird and different. I've said this in past videos, so I won't say too much about it. But basically, you know, when you're bullied, one of two things happens. One, you either become, in terms of INFJ, you become super sensitive and super emotional, and your FE becomes really strong, your feeling becomes really strong, and often this develops you into a highly sensitive person through trauma, through experiences, and to some degree, genetically, you could be a highly sensitive person. Feeling and connection to the heart is more connected to the feminine. Now, I'm not saying it is feminine, but I'm saying it's more connected to feminine energy, you know? So that's one of the things that can happen from trauma. Another thing that can happen is that you withdraw, you put on a kind of like, nothing can hurt me, I'm okay kind of face, and you think with your brain before your heart. So instead of you think with your brain before your heart, and it's basically, you know, I think before I feel type of thing. And that's what happened with me. I just chose not to feel. Because my emotions were so strong, I chose not to feel. And it's really bad to do this. Well, it's bad to do, do you know what I mean? Basically, bullying, trauma, all these things isn't exactly good for us, but from those things, we learn more about ourselves, and we look at ourselves, and we go, this has really affected me, but I'm better than that, you know? And the only problem is that because it's affected us when we're younger, it's still within us. So often you have to kind of like release it to feel better. And it's funny because in my case, I chose the thinking side of things rather than the feeling side of things. I chose to think about something before doing it. Do you know what I mean? And I chose to be detached from my emotions, because feeling all these emotions and feeling all these people and all this energy around me was just too much to bear. And because of that, I was detached. Because of that, I couldn't fully connect with people. I did connect with them because I understood them, but I didn't connect with them emotionally. So for the past 3 months, I've come into contact and, had experiences which have opened me to my emotions. And one person has really helped me, and, she's massively helped me. It's funny because the way it happened was, all we did was talk, and slowly and slowly and slowly, unconsciously, she brought me down through these levels, and it was just basically reliving all these things which I've kept within myself, and saying, yeah, I do feel sad, yeah, and basically going through it psychologically, until it hit the core. And the core was basically, I felt like crap, and, do you know what I mean, from bullying, essentially. And I cried so much, and I haven't cried that hard in so long. And it was really good. And I just felt goosebumps, and I felt this massive release. And that is the thing, guys, we don't actually realise that we've got all this stuff within us. And actually, we do exercise, we go to events, we do work, we do all these things to kind of ignore it. And actually it's still there. And the only way to really release it is to release it emotionally. To cry. And that, there's lots of other ways to do it, but essentially you have to release it emotionally. Or it's going to always be there. And that's the problem. And once I released it, I felt vulnerable. I felt weak, I felt vulnerable, I felt attuned to feeling. And actually that's how I used to feel when I was younger, but because I haven't used my feeling so much for so long, it became normal for me to think about things rather than to actually experience things, which was terrible, but I didn't consciously know that. That's the thing. Yeah. Anyway, everything's good now. But what I'm trying to say is, guys, that when we're bullied, or when we have trauma and when we have bad experiences, to become fully ourselves, to become fully balanced, you have to release all of that. And in many cases, you don't consciously know that you've still got stuff within you, but you've got to kind of talk it out. Talk with someone you trust, perhaps see a therapist, or, see someone to help you release these emotions. And once you've released these emotions, you're fine again. Do you know what I mean? And it's really simple stuff. So going back a little bit, when we're hurt, we go one of two ways. We either choose to think with our heads before feeling our hearts, which is more the masculine, the more thinking, which is what happened with me, or you tend to feel more rather than think about things, which is more connected to the feminine and more connected to highly sensitive people. Now, I've come into contact with, many highly sensitive people who are connected to their hearts, and they help me understand emotions and feeling myself again through their orientation and through their focus. As an INFJ thinker, what does it mean to feel with your heart? Well, basically, what it comes down to is not thinking. It's being present. It's being here in the now. And as intuitives, as future thinkers who conceptualize and think about the future, it's very hard for us to be present orientated. So what does it mean to be present orientated? It means not thinking. It means just being here with your senses, smelling the room, feeling how the seat is underneath you, feeling the air, listening to the vibrations of your voice bouncing off the walls, It's the 5 senses: sight, touch, smell, taste, I've missed one out, but it's the 5 senses basically. And yeah, it's very powerful, guys, it's very powerful. And if someone is like, for example, if you're in a situation and someone's being really emotional, feeling orientated INFJs and highly sensitive INFJs will be triggered to that emotion, and they understand it because they feel with their heart before their heads. But for kind of thinking orientated INFJs like myself, we're quite detached, and we think, this is how I can help you, this is what I could do. I'm really sorry you're undergoing these emotions, but I'm not going to involve myself emotionally too much because it will affect me, and it won't help my concentration in trying to help you, kind of thing. But actually, if you can use both, guys, it's amazing. It is so powerful. If you can be a thinker, if you can be a practical thinker who can detach themselves, this can be hard for feeling-orientated INFJs, but if you learn to detach yourself and you learn to think about things, you know, it's really good. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're a feeling-orientated INFJ who feels with emotions, try to learn to be detached and try to learn to think practically first before feeling with your heart. Now I know that's hard, but you know, there are ways that you can learn to improve it. And try it every day and, you know, improve the practical side of things and the practical way of thinking. For thinking-orientated INFJs, try to feel with your heart first. And you can't really fully do that until you've released all your trauma and all your emotions from the past and just made peace with it. And basically, it's really simple. Being connected to your emotions is not thinking. Now, as thinkers, we'll do anything to not be with ourselves. That's basically what it is. I have to do this, I have to wash the dishes, I have to do this, I have to do that, and then I have to do this, and later I got to do this. You're kind of like kidding yourself into not being here. You're thinking about what to do so much in the future, you're not actually living, you're not actually here. And it's really powerful when you don't think, because you're here. You can create fear out of thinking too much. You can become obsessive by thinking too much. And basically this is all just from thinking, because you extend and you connect and you extend and you connect. But actually when you take it all back and you come back to the very single point of right now, there is only ever now. Now is happening right now. The future is never going to happen, because what is happening right now is the present. The past has happened. Stop thinking about the past. A lot of us dwell on the past, but you can't change the past. You can change the future, but essentially, you can think about the future as much as you want, but essentially, what the time is now is the present. You are constantly living in the present. Your mind might be focused on future things, but if it is, you're not actually living. You're not actually living, because you're not actually here, you know? And when you don't think, and when you stop kidding yourself and you stop kind of thinking about things to kind of like not live with your, do you know what I mean? We think so much to not be with ourselves. We think so much so we don't have to feel things. And in a feeling INFJ type of way, they feel things before thinking about it. And actually, something can affect them and it could make them feel really bad, but essentially if they think about it logically, they're actually fine. They've just connected with it and it's hurt them, but if they detach and they think about it practically, actually it's not that bad, really. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, it's very hard to use both sides at once. It's very hard to use your thinking and your feeling at the same time, but if you can, it is very powerful and it is a wonderful thing, because you become fully balanced, really, and you become so much more, because you are open to both sides and to almost everything in every way, because you're thinking and feeling at the same time rather than thinking with your head then your heart, or the other way around. It's much easier for people who feel to understand what I mean. But let me give you an idea of what it's like to be here and to be present. Do you understand? Just be. Don't think. Just be here. And it's really easy. And you'll feel it. And it is so powerful.